I visited Pumapunku for the first time, or when I visited certain museums around the world. And slowly but surely you put it
Hmm.
together, and now it's just that the picture just starts to emerge a little bit more clear than, let's say, 15 years ago. And the more and more people send stuff in, like, of statues that they have found somewhere else at a museum where I've never been to. So with the internet and with Facebook especially, we become an even more connected planet. And so that networking has been invaluable in trying to figure out, what was it all about, or what is it all
Hmm.
about. And it's amazing how, I mean, even on Ancient Aliens, we are discussing stuff where I personally didn't even know it existed. So, it's amazing what our research team has come up with. I mean, they're doing a spectacular job.
Now, for our listeners around the world who may be asking themselves, what is this Ancient Aliens TV show that these two guys are talking about? It's very simple, Exonation. Ancient Aliens explores the theories that extraterrestrials have visited Earth for millions of years. Now, that goes from the age of dinosaurs to ancient Egypt to early cave drawings to continued mass sightings in the United States. And in each episode, it's a hit TV series on History Channel. The series gives a historic depth to questions, speculations, provocative controversies, first-hand accounts, and grounded theories surrounding this age-old debate. The question: did intelligent beings from outer space actually visit Earth thousands of years ago? Do you think that question has been answered, Giorgio?
In my mind, yes, it has,
Hmm.
because to me, the whole ancient astronaut theory is not, and it never has been a matter of belief.
Hmm.
It has always been a matter of knowing. I mean, I'm convinced that they were here. I don't need any, a piece of a crashed spaceship or something like that. I don't need that, because the evidence that we have in the ancient texts and the statues and the paintings and all the different relics from our ancient past,
Hmm.
they point, of course, in my opinion, in one clear direction. And, if somebody wants to disagree with that, that is fine. I have absolutely no problem with anyone disagreeing with any of the conclusions that we draw on Ancient Aliens, and that's good. Debate is good. It becomes strange and bizarre when the debate, turns to become, if the attacks become insulting and things like that, because then it's no longer a debate, and it's just, hurling insults, and that's
Sure.
really not that does not advance anything.
Why is there so much discord between different organizations within the UFO community? Why can't they work together, share the information, and solve the mystery?
That's really funny that you should ask that question, because I just finished editing an article for Legendary Times
Hmm.
in which the author asks that exact same question, because we're all in this together,
Yeah.
but it seems that everybody wants to reinvent the wheel. Everybody has petty hang-ups with somebody else, and it's strange. When in actuality we should find a way how we can bridge the gap between our field and the mainstream and things like that. But it's strange. I mean,
Sure.
just for the conference as well. I mean, there's some people, and you read this on your Facebook wall. It's like, well, yes, I will go to this, but no, I checked the people in attendance, because out of one person I am not going. I mean, it's just so odd. You have a lineup of 50 of the best people, and
Yep.
because of one person that you don't like, you're not going to go to the whole event. I mean, that's crazy. So, it's just people are bizarre. It's just we live in a very strange world.
Strange is an understatement, my friend. Speaking about
Yes.
speaking about strange, one of the strangest topics that I deal with here on this show, and I know that you people on Ancient aliens have covered this. It's called, it's the alien abduction scenario. And at the conference, Travis Walton's going to be there, and I've had the pleasure of having Travis on the show many times. I find him to be very credible. Something happened. When you look at the big picture, and you don't look at the movie, but you talk to Travis himself, you can hear it. You can hear the memories coming up to the surface, and you get a sense of what he might have gone through, because no one will ever know except Travis. Where do you believe the alien abduction scenario fits into the UFO ancient alien realm?
Yeah. Well, Travis Walton too will appear at the conference, and I just actually ran into Travis only a couple of weeks ago when we both appeared at San Diego Comic-Con for different events, but we made a point to see each other, and he looked very good and was very excited to be at Comic-Con, and I think that the whole abduction phenomenon fits into the ancient astronaut theory very well, because there are, or we have, ancient stories of abductions, where, for example, where you have the apocalypse of Abraham, where it's no longer, it used to be a part of the Bible, but if you are now trying to go and look for that passage in your regular Bible, you're not going to find it because it was taken out. So it is now an apocryphal text, and it describes how Abraham was taken up in a fiery chariot, where he was able to see the round of the earth, where he felt as if he was falling down, and then he was upside down again, and then he was right side up, and upside down, and right side up, thus describing artificial gravity, for example. And, so we have abduction stories also in ancient times. And therefore, I think that, to me, it was never the idea that, so you deal with ancient aliens, meaning how come they were here in the past, and where did they go? Why did they disappear? That was never the idea. Nobody has ever suggested that just because, aliens visited us in the past, that is, restricted to that period in time. I think that they've always been here with us and observed their quote-unquote experiment.
What is the biggest key to trying to understand this maze that we're all looking at, saying, geez, there's got to be an answer? It seems as soon as we get into this maze, we turn right, turn left, and it's a block. You've got to work your way all the way back to where you started from, basically. Is it cooperation? Is it better education? Is it understanding? Is it mutual respect between all the researchers? What do we do?
I think it's everything that you just mentioned, because, in the end, it most certainly it's collaboration, but at the same time, it's also where we live in this time where the digital age, if you remember 15 years ago, this whole digital age thing, it only began. Now it is common knowledge. Everybody grows up with it. It's second nature. But 15 years ago, the internet, it was something exciting. It was something new. And, so that is something that we have all become to experience from the cradle basically to where it is now. But I don't think that we are using it to the most effective of ways by accessing, other people's research. I mean,
exactly.
It's very individualized still, despite the internet, and that's strange.
Yeah, I was talking to Butch Witkowski last night, and he is with the PA UFO Research Center. And it seems like the majority of researchers, and I'm putting that name in brackets here, are just like the armchair quarterbacks. They do their research on the computers with other people's work instead of going out into the field and doing the research firsthand. You know, you do it on your shows. You do it
Well,
when you...
and that is the thing that, that once you go out and you go to the libraries, or you look at the texts, or you go and look at the monuments, or you look at the artifacts in the different museums, that is way different. You have no idea how many times a week or a month I am sent an article with pictures that were clearly photoshopped, not thinking that, hey, Giorgio might have actually been at that site, and he knows that that stone is certainly not there and definitely not in that configuration, or, it's frightening what in this day and age passes for real, and, all this stuff online on YouTube about, the discoveries of bones of giants and things like that. Those are all great stories, but has an actual fossilized giant bone been discovered?
Nope.
No, only replicas are in museums or in those different places in those exhibits. There's never the actual bone where you can go and do some DNA testing. And that, to me, is a telltale sign of it not being genuine. But does that change my opinion on the ancient astronaut theory? Absolutely not.
It's just like the other areas of the paranormal when it comes to hoaxes, fakes, lack of evidence, or created evidence to try and pull the wool over the eyes of the unsuspecting. Bigfoot, for example. All we have are these casts. There's no evidence whatsoever that can be taken to a lab for DNA analysis. There's never been a cadaver found of a Bigfoot. The same thing goes for the Loch Ness Monster, and so on and so forth.
Right.
I always say, Giorgio, that the Internet is the largest septic tank ever created by mankind.
Oh, the Internet, I cannot even tell you how much I agree with that statement. It is frightening. I mean, everybody checks their brain at the door the moment they turn on that machine. I mean, it is wild. I mean, I would be embarrassed to volunteer some of the thoughts that people post on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
and not just that they post it, but it's just a knee-jerk reaction. Nobody turns on their brain anymore before they talk, and that is really disconcerting. Highly fascinating and amusing and humorous, but at the same time, it's horrifying.
Yeah. And look what we're doing with our kids in school, giving them all this technology instead of the old way of communicating by talking to the person and understanding. Giorgio, stand by, good friend. You and I have to take our final break. We'll be back in about 4 minutes from now. Exonation, don't forget, Contact in the Desert, 9th to 11th of August. www.contactinthedesert.net. There are a few tickets left. And legendarytimesbooks.com for Giorgio. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. With each new extreme weather event or terrorist act, it becomes increasingly obvious that we live in uncertain and challenging times. We all buy car insurance. Why not collapse and catastrophe insurance? Matthew Stein, an MIT-trained engineer and green builder, has written 2 outstanding books to help people prepare, plan for, and deal with everything from minor situations lasting a few days to full-on collapse. Matt's first book, When Technology Fails, is a manual for self-reliance, sustainable living, and surviving the long emergency. This massive book covers the gamut from first aid and emergency preparedness to alternative healing, renewable energy, primitive living skills, and 18th century technologies that could be critical to your comfort and survival in a long-lasting crisis. Matt's second book, When Disaster Strikes, is a comprehensive emergency preparedness handbook and survival guide. When Disaster Strikes is an essential item for every family's go bag. Both books are available at all usual sources. There's a wealth of totally free information posted at whentechfails.com, and author-signed copies may be purchased at mattstein.com. That's www.whentechfails.com and www.mattstein.com.